Welcome to the Munk podcast, your sanctuary for self-discovery, personal growth, and emotional healing. I'm your host, Parag Lokande, a shadow coach, spiritual mentor, seeker, poet, and a student of life. This podcast is a heartfelt journey into understanding and embracing your true self. It is designed to help you navigate the complexities of the human experience with wisdom and compassion. Join me on a journey to self-discovery and personal growth as we explore the power of self-healing. Welcome back to the Munk podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Parag, and just like last time, we are unpacking the I Breathe framework. We are up to A for allowing, which is today's topic. So thank you for joining me again. As usual, this is a reminder to listen to this podcast from oldest to the newest episode, just like you would listen to an ebook. On the surface, today's topic sounds pretty straightforward. Maybe it is, or maybe it is not. I'll leave it with you to decide at the end. Today, then, we are talking about A for allowing, meaning giving full permission for the emotions or sensations to take over. This step actually invites us to do something that feels deeply counterintuitive, especially in a world that rewards control instead of surrender. So today we are talking about giving full, unapologetic permission for the emotion or sensation to arise, expand, and move through us without resistance. We're trying to reach a space in us today, and I hope I can do justice to that, in which full surrender can happen. A place or a space where we're not fixing, analyzing, or trying to escape anything. We're simply being with what is and fully. This is the heart of emotional alchemy, and today we'll explore what it means to truly let go and trust the intelligence of your emotional body. I really want you to feel or experience this space of surrender. Just to viscerally help you ground this in your body. I want you to experience clearly what it means to be in a space of giving full, unapologetic permission for the emotions or sensations to arise, expand, and then move through you without resistance, in fact. So, instead of the usual, I'm going to try something new, and I hope you will be kind enough to come along with me on this. Let's try something today. Let's do a quick exercise to really try and viscerally understand what this space of surrender looks like. Let's take a moment to drop in, join in, and play along, and I promise you'll appreciate this topic better that way. So wherever you are, if I can invite you to come back to yourself, come into stillness. And I don't recommend you doing this if you're driving, but for everyone else, wherever you are, just take a moment to pause. Whether you're sitting, lying down, or standing, let your body begin to settle. Allow your shoulders to drop. Soften your jaw, unclench your hands. Let your eyes gently close or soften your gaze if you prefer. And just breathe. Notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. There's nothing to change right now. Just observe. Just be with your breath. Feel your body begin to slow down. Feel the breath moving through you like a wave. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now I'd like to guide you into a simple but powerful exercise. On your next breath, take a long, deep inhale through your nose. Fill your lungs up completely. And then hold. Just hold it there. Stay with it. Notice what happens. Do you feel your body begin to tighten? Do you feel your mind wants to release? Maybe there's tension in the chest or restlessness building inside. This is what resistance feels like. This is what it's like when we try to control, suppress, or override what's natural. Keep holding. Don't just exhale yet. You see, when we hold back an emotion or refuse to feel something that's rising, that's what it feels like to control, suppress, or override what's natural. Stay with this tension a little longer. And when you feel ready, when your body really asks for it, let go. Exhale completely through the mouth. Release it all. Let yourself feel the surrender. Notice the softening, the ease, the letting go. Let yourself surrender. Feel this. Notice what this feels like. And now just rest in your natural breath. No force, no control. Let the breath breathe you. This is the space of allowing. When you're not fixing anything, you're not escaping, you're not analyzing, you're just being fully and unapologetically with what is. Feel what's that like in your body, to be open, to let go, to trust the wisdom of your breath and your emotions. And come back to yourself. Slowly and gently open your eyes. Allow yourself to ground. Come back to the body. You see, that holding of the breath was a mirror of how often we hold back our emotions, trying to control or suppress them. It creates tension, stress, and resistance. But the moment we exhale, it was a surrender. Not because we were told to, but because our body knew it was time to let go. That moment of release, that's the space of allowing. This is the heart of emotional surrender. Not pushing anything away, not overthinking, just being present with what is and letting the wave move through. In the same way, when we stop resisting our emotions, they don't drown us, they literally liberate us. Now, I know what you could be thinking. You might be thinking, Parag, this is easy with breath. Breathing comes naturally, but feeling emotions, that's different. That feels unnatural, overwhelming, and unsafe. And I completely get it. I truly empathize. I've been there before. Because you're absolutely right. It is hard, but not because emotions are unnatural. It's hard because we've spent a lifetime holding back. And somewhere along the way, we've made an unconscious agreement that feeling deeply equals danger. You see, when we were younger, whether kids, teens, or even adults, we had moments where our full emotional expression wasn't met with understanding. Maybe we were shamed for crying or punished for being angry or ignored when we felt scared. So we learned, if I show this part of me, I might be rejected. Or worse, if I feel this, I might not even survive it. And that's where the habit of holding back began. That tension, the tightness, the control. It wasn't weakness. It was protection. And now here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes we resist feeling not just out of fear, but because on some level we are getting something from that resistance. We also call this a secondary gain. It's a hidden benefit we get from not letting go. For example, if I hold on to my anger, I don't have to feel the sadness underneath. If I stay in anxiety, I feel like I'm staying prepared, like I have some control. If I avoid grief, I don't have to admit how much something meant to me or how much I've lost. If I stay numb, I don't risk being overwhelmed or disappointed again. So even though it's painful to resist, there's a part of us, and usually unconscious, that believes it is safer this way. It's like carrying a heavy backpack every day. It hurts, it's exhausting, but we tell ourselves, I need this bag, it protects me, it keeps me ready. But at some point, the cost becomes too high. And think about it. Your body takes a lot more energy to hold the stockpile or the emotional legacy of your suppressed emotions. If you also look at it closely, all our overeating, overachieving, overfunctioning, perfection, being in hyperdrive, feeling constantly tired, drained, frustrated, lost, or numb, is all just to keep our emotions at bay. And so again, you may say, but Parag, emotions are too painful to feel. And I hear you, I really do. I've been there myself. But I invite you to pause and consider, look at the pain you're already carrying just to keep those emotions at bay. Avoiding emotions doesn't protect you from pain. It often prolongs and multiplies it in ways we don't even notice anymore because it's become such a normal. Waking up with anxiety in your chest, even before the day begins, because unprocessed fear is sitting like a weight on your chest. Constant overthinking, replaying those conversations or imagining worst case scenarios. Because it's easier to stay in the head than to drop in the heart. Or snapping up at loved ones for small things, not because they did something wrong, but because there's unacknowledged anger or resentment you haven't let yourself feel. Or getting physically sick or fatigued often because suppressed emotions tax that nervous system. or avoiding silence or stillness. Remember how we keep playing the music, podcasts, and TV is always on? Because the quiet might just bring up feelings you're avoiding to face or afraid to face. What about compulsive scrolling, eating, drinking, or working out? Not out of joy or hunger, but to numb something that wants to rise. Difficulty sleeping, because your body may be still, but your emotional energy is still swelling or seeking a release. How about feeling disconnected in relationships? Because it's hard to let someone in when you're working so hard to shut your own emotions out. There's always a chronic sense of emptiness or boredom for many of us, even when life looks fine from the outside, because you've lost contact with your emotional liveliness. We are often feeling ashamed of ourselves for being too much or not too enough, because the emotions we've suppressed are literally showing up as internalized judgment. So yes, emotions can be painful, but ask yourself, what's the real cost of not feeling them? What is it costing you to keep the gates locked? Because what we've suppressed just doesn't disappear. It waits, and it whispers through your habits, your body, your moods, and your relationships. You see, the pain is already there. The freedom comes when we let ourselves feel it, fully, honestly, unapologetically. And to that, you may again say, but Parag, emotions are just too much. I've buried them for a reason. And that too, I say, I understand. But let's be honest for a moment. If you really think avoiding emotions is saving you pain, then really look at the pain you're already living with. That tightness in your throat every time someone asks, are you okay? And you smile and say yes, but inside, your inner child is screaming, please just hug me and mean it. The tears that threaten to come when you're alone in the car, in the shower, or just walking at dusk. But then you shove them down again because you don't have time to fall apart. That numbness you carry like an armor, not because you feel nothing, but because you feel too much and no one ever showed you what to do with it. The way you keep apologizing for existing, for being too much, for being too emotional, too sensitive, too dramatic, because someone somewhere made you believe your feelings were a burden. The way you disappear in relationships, becoming whatever others need you to be, while your real self hides in a locked room inside your chest, waiting for your permission to be real. That heavy, invisible grief you carry from the childhood, which you never got to fully live, because you were just too busy being strong, being too good, being quiet, being fine. What about that shallow breath, that clenched jaw, the stiff neck, your body holding in sobs it was never allowed to release? Or that laughter that doesn't reach your eyes because the joy you perform for others is masking the exhaustion of never feeling safe enough to fall apart. Or the way you overcare for others while secretly longing for someone to ask, what about you? Who's holding you? Or the nights you lie awake, not because your life is broken, but because there is a hollow ache inside that keeps whispering, something's missing, something's not right. Or even the quiet panic you feel when everything's going well, because peace feels unfamiliar and part of you is waiting for it to be taken away. I don't know about you guys, but I felt lonely in crowded rooms because no one saw the parts of me that's still years old, sitting in the dark, wondering if anyone will ever truly understand. The ache in your chest when you see someone cry openly, not because you judge them, but because you secretly long for that kind of freedom for yourself. And let's not even go into the physical discomfort, all the ways the body had to carry the emotions the heart was never allowed to feel. The panic attacks that come out of nowhere, but are really your body finally saying, I can't hold this anymore. The migraines, the tight chest, the digestive issues, not just from what you ate, but from what you've been emotionally swallowing for years. The autoimmune flares, the chronic fatigue, the sense of always being on the edge because your nervous system is still waiting for a danger that never left. That shortness of breath, the palpitations, the insomnia, the body sounding the alarm that your feelings are still locked in that basement trying to get out. The weight in your body, not just literal but energetic, the heaviness that isn't just about muscles or bones, but grief that's never been held, or anger that's never been honored. If you look at all this pain you're already experiencing, and then ask yourself, am I really living? I mean, is this really living? Guys, are we really living, or are we just delaying death? So yes, maybe you've convinced yourself that feeling is dangerous, but isn't it more dangerous to live your whole life disconnected from your own heart? Your inner child doesn't want a perfect life. She doesn't need a therapist in every moment. He doesn't want to be fixed. They just want to be felt fully, finally, freely. So when you ask, or when you say it's too painful to feel, I gently ask, isn't this already painful? What if feeling your feelings isn't the breakdown? What if actually it's the beginning of the breakthrough? So this isn't about drama, it's actually about dignity. It's about reclaiming the emotional birthright that was stolen from you when you were told you had to be calm or quiet or strong all the time. It's not weakness to feel, it's actually wisdom. It's a path of real strength. And to my fellow men out there, I read something once that never really left me. And it said, most men would die for those they love, but they aren't willing to feel for them. Let that land. We'll run into burning buildings, we'll sacrifice sleep, health, our own lives. But when it comes to sitting with our own pain, our own grief, own longing, we flinch, we freeze, we shut down. Why? Because somewhere along the way, we were told, you don't get to feel. That's not what men do. We were told to be the rock, be strong, unshakable, never cry, to never need. And we believed it. We built our lives around it. Success, muscles, toughness, stoicism. But here's the truth no one tells us. You can be strong and still be hurting. You can be a protector and still feel the fear. You can be a provider and still feel empty. And if you're honest, many of us are emotionally simply starving. Not because we don't have feelings, but because we've never been taught how to sit without the shame. We say we love our kids. We say we love our partners, our communities. But are we willing to feel what love actually costs? The vulnerability, the risks, the ache of letting people close enough to break our hearts. You say you die for your family, but will you let yourself cry in front of them? Will you let your daughter see what a man looks like when he feels and doesn't hide? Will you let your son learn that strength is not silence, but presence? We are not just protectors, we are carriers of enormous emotional depth. But most of us have been locked out of our own hearts. And brother, I say this with love, if you don't feel your grief, your anger, your tenderness, it doesn't disappear. It just passes down to your partner, to your children, to the world. We don't need more silent men. We need more honest ones, more felt ones, more soft ones, more solid ones. So let this be the moment not to fix, not to figure it all out, just to sit and feel, even if it's awkward, even if it scares the hell out of you. Because a version of you on the other side of that feeling, he's waiting. He's been waiting for long. and he's whole, he's worthy, and he's finally ready to come home. So as we close today, I just want to say this. Once you've found your way to your emotions, after all the inner dialogue with your unconscious, the decoding, etc., you don't have to do anything after. You don't have to do anything after that which comes up. You don't need to fix it, explain it, or even understand it right now. Just honor it. Honor the breath that trembled. Honor the emotion that rose quietly. Honor the part of you maybe long forgotten. This is the work. Not the perfect healing journey, not the tidy timeline, but these small, sacred moments where you chose to feel instead of flee. You did something powerful today. You allowed, and you can rest in that. And that is strength. And this is no small thing. So folks, go gently now, drink some water, put your hand on your heart, and remember, the more you allow, the more you will come alive. See you next time. Take care. Much love.